We will start by introducing ourselves. My name is Habib Ghanem. I am the Vice President of Business Development in Treasury Xpress. I have joining us Muhsin Alustrom, who's the General Manager of the Treasury Department in Oman Shipping Company. If you can talk to us more about yourself, Muhsin, it would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Habib, and thanks to the ACT for presenting this opportunity to be here today. So, as Habib mentioned, I'm the General Manager of Treasury, or the Group Treasurer at Oman Shipping Company. Oman Shipping Company is, from the name, of course, a fully fledged shipping company. We're based out of Muscat, Oman. We're part of the government-owned holding company called Asyad Group, which specializes in logistics and transportation. At Oman Shipping, I look after liquidity, cash management, financial risk management, capital structure strategies, as well as treasury operations and IT solutions. And just before joining Oman Shipping 2.5 years ago, I worked with an oil and commodities trader called Oman Trading International, OTI, for 6 years, based out of Dubai. At OTI as well, I managed, trade finance, working capital, financing needs, as well as the treasury operation for the OTI company. And before that, I was with DP World, both in the treasury and accounts functions, based in Dubai as well as London, for a total period of 6 years. As a background, I come from an accounting background in terms of qualification, and you can say as a typical treasurer's path, shifting from accounts to treasury. That's how it happened with me, and I never looked back.
Excellent. Okay, let's jump right in then. So today we will be discussing how Oman Shipping Company transitioned from a manual operational treasury into a fully digitalized day-to-day process. It is worthy to mention the topic of the year, basically, which is none other than the COVID situation that we have been hit by, and its drastic economical effects. Now, for that reason, we see corporates these days taking a more measured approach with respect to their cash at hand and the investment management decisions. So that in turn pushed corporates to skew towards adopting a more digitalized approach to their day-to-day treasury operations, as employees are finding themselves working from home more often than not. So without further ado, I shall give the floor to Muhsin Alustrom to start giving us an introduction first about Oman Shipping Company and talk to us about the pre-TMS days from an operational view, and we will take it from there. Yeah?
Sure. Thanks, Habib. So as a quick background of Oman Shipping Company, the company was established in 2003. It grew basically from the Omani government's vision to develop a national transportation and maritime services company. We initially started and focused on the transportation of LNG cargoes originating from Oman and being exported to the international market. We then grew our fleet to VLCCs, product tankers, chemical tankers, LPG carriers, dry bulk carriers, as well as recently, container ships as well. Today, we have a very well-diverse fleet of more than 50, modern and eco-friendly vessels, both owned and chartered in. So that's a quick background of Oman Shipping. And, to give you a perspective on how OSC Treasury handled their operations and their requirements before, the TMS era, and today, there's a famous Chinese saying, and it is something like, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. So pre COVID-19 or no COVID, having a TMS in place is absolutely a vital tool for a treasurer as well in terms of planning. For me as a treasurer, and as well as, for the treasury team as well, we ask ourselves questions like, do we have sufficient liquidity, not just for the next month or year or, a fiscal period, this week, can we survive the supply chain disruption? What if there is a disruption in the supply chain in our, day-to-day operations when it comes to the vessels? And then can we rely on the manual input when it comes to the cash flow and the liquidity forecasts we have in place as well, or we had in place? And then we look at the risk management aspects. How can we better manage our FX risks, execute FX deals, interest rate risks as well. Things like the bank charges, the reconciliation as well. And how can banks and tech providers such as you can assist us with that? So these are the questions we were asking ourselves, and predominantly I was asking when I first joined OSC. It was very apparent from the discussion and from the outcome of these questions as well that the ERP was not agile enough, flexible enough to meet our rapidly changing needs from a broad and also liquidity and cash flow forecasting perspective. We as a shipping company, we follow a model which is a one ship a company model, where each ship is owned by its own SPV, and naturally that would result in that SPV having its own bank accounts and possible its own separate financing arrangement, which is ring fenced against the holdco or the Oman shipping group. That resulted, of course, in an expansion in our banking partners, in our needs as well, in terms of liquidity and treasury operation. So that posed itself as a challenge, but as well as it came, as an opportunity as well for us to grow as a treasury team, to be very selective when it comes to our offering in terms of the needs we have with the banks. We always go with the model that we avoid meeting the banks the day we actually need funding.
Yeah.
We meet them to discuss our strategies on a day-to-day basis. We meet them weekly basis for a coffee, a casual coffee. So, all that being in mind, not having the visibility, the instant visibility was a key risk for us, for our planning. And that's why the decision came basically to have a system which is not, replacing or bypassing the ERP system by any means. It's more to complement the relationship we have today with the ERP as well as the banking or payment platforms.
Okay, excellent. So can you walk us through the process OSC, Oman Shipping Company, underwent in selecting a vendor? And as you said, it is not replacing an ERP, it's more rather complementing one. And this is very crucial to understand, and you can elaborate on that, on when the process and all of that. Thank you, Muhsin, for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely, Habib. So, as a process, being a government-owned company, we had our own procedures and processes as well, to start with the RFQ, to invite all the tech providers or the TMS providers. So we went through that exercise, and it was very much open source. We received numerous bids from many TMS providers, and we had very strict requirements when it comes to the commercial and the technical criteria as well, that could suit us and could meet our security and IT processes as well, and guidelines, as well as having the flexibility to be able to access the system from anywhere, to be able to connect with the banks we have, and to be able to also integrate with the system or the ERP we have in place. There was also the element of having cloud-based. So today, with of course, after going through the criteria and after rigorous process, we have come to the conclusion that Treasury Express was the best suited system for us. And one of the key points as well is it's a system with data which is locally available and placed within Oman, yet still managed on a cloud basis, which gives us a remote accessibility. And this is something very vital for us. Having a cloud-based TMS or treasury system, it's relatively easy to continue working, uninterrupted, and especially in these days. Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, the data is hosted locally in the data centers of Oman Data Park, which handles the hosting for Oman Shipping Company, which has been a very good process, as you said, in terms of connecting on a cloud base, yet keeping the data safe in the company, in the country itself, because as you know, you have companies that are partly government owned and so on in these region part of the world, and that is a demand from those companies these days. Now, by the way, I almost forgot. I would like to congratulate you on your award that you received this year for the ACT. Can you talk to us about what the award is and how it came, how hard it is to do that funding, and how you surmounted those challenges?
Definitely. Thank you very much, Habib. And we're very fortunate, and we are really excited that ACT selected us for the corporate funding, medium to large size, companies award this year. This is, simply a testament of the strength of the treasury team we have within Oman Shipping, the type of deals we have. It was predominantly for an Islamic finance as well as an ESG tranche. It also solidifies, OSC's take on sustainable finance, on green finance and ESG, and the awareness offerings as well, as some customized, and innovative financial structures as well when it comes to Ijara finance facility offerings as well. So I can tell you we're very, very proud, and that could not have been done if we didn't have the right, visibility. And I can say with confidence, having the visibility, the liquidity management we had, in terms of even the banking charges, in terms of the preparation of the financial models as well, we were able to better plan and position ourselves when it comes to the strategic capital structure of the company, and able to refinance these facilities into much favorable competitive facilities, which fortunately resulted in this award as well, which we are very, very humbly happy about.
Congrats again, Muhsin. As you said, I mean, Treasury Express for us is an enabler for corporates all around the region. I mean, if I can just talk about our company for 2 minutes, Treasury Express our motto is to be smart, scalable, and on-demand solution. We began as a startup. It's a fairly new company in 2006. However, after about 15 years, with our head office in Paris, France, we found ourselves growing exponentially year on year to have operations in the US, the UK, Lebanon, and Dubai, serving the Americas, Europe, and the MENA region. It is worthy to note that Treasury Express handles the implementation from A to Z for all of our customers, like we did for yourselves. And we have around the clock support structure. I mean, our footprint in the MENA region is quite sizable, handling treasuries for corporates from all sectors, be it shipping, construction, retail, pharmaceutical, healthcare, even government bodies. So, I mean, now that we've talked about, I mean, the challenges before, and where we are today in terms of, the situation with COVID and so on. And after you have decided on implementing a treasury management system for your company, could you tell us and walk us through the post-TMS days and how having a treasury management system helped you overcome the challenges that we face today or corporates face today in the treasuries?
Yeah, absolutely, Habib. So, for us, to be honest, implementing Treasury Express, the whole technology allowed us to view, to access, to manage our cash position in a single pot, basically, and that comes to the visibility as well for us. It made our reporting very flexible. It made our the seamless the manual processes we had previously. We were able to eliminate a lot of manual workflows pre TMS. It facilitated the whole financial data extracting, the communication of the financial data. We were able to integrate the company's multiple ERPs and management system as well. The work is very much now, it is tech savvy, but it's very much more analytical rather than operational. So we do a lot of operational work. We do reporting, be it statutory reporting or conventional within the company, and then we do a lot of budget holder kind of strategy advisory work as well. What we could see before TMS, 80% of the workload was for the team was operational, and a small amount was for the reporting, and then a very tiny amount was actually for the the budget holder or the strategy and the advisory contribution point of view. What you can see now, it's actually shifted. So you see very limited operational activities. However, there is a lot more. So the reporting is still there, but there's a lot more advisory role. It actually positions the Treasury very much in a place where it's no longer a cost center, but rather a cost saving center, potentially moving into a profit center, with the in-house banking capabilities being also tested now with Treasury Xpress and hopefully being implemented very soon as well. So it basically gives the treasurer a seat on the table. Basically, it's a very powerful decision-making tool, and it's an expert's view that cannot be ignored anymore. And now that you have this data and facts, which are available on instant basis.
Yeah, I mean, you were lucky enough to basically sign up to implement a treasury management system before Corona had hit
Yes.
the world, and that's good because I mean it helped you tremendously in overcoming a lot of operational challenges, basically. So
Uh,
I commend you for that, and good. I mean, looking to the future and building a treasury of the future, basically, was what you did at Oman Shipping Company. So we would like to now. I mean, if you don't have anything to add, Muhsin, maybe jump to the questions Q&A session, and I will be checking the questions and reading up to you or me, and we will gladly answer. Okay, just bear
yeah,
with
sure,
me.
sure, with pleasure.
Okay, yeah, there is a question that we have, which is to you, Muhsin. What are your
Mhm.
future digitalization and future proofing plans, if you have any, for Oman Shipping Company? I mean, is there anything that you have on mind in terms of what's the next step? You have the TMS up and running.
Definitely.
You're using it.
Yes,
Yeah,
we have.
go ahead.
Yeah, we have the TMS up and running. We are well averse of the technology and the development when it comes to the APIs, to the blockchain, as well as the fourth industrial revolution, etc., etc. So we're very much, and also when it comes to the Swift GPI as well. For us, it's keep on learning and staying relevant within our business as well, and adding value to our shareholder. It's not only the implementation of TMS and now we have a system and we move on. We actually take it from there and enhance it. And for us, we don't look at it from the perspective of replacing people with a machine, for example. A machine will not actually analytically look at the data and tell you what do you have to do. It's actually a human that will look at the data and make the interpretation, basically. So what we're looking at is a human capital, which is a huge resource we have, and that's the development with, of course, the implementation of TMS, the access to the latest technology, as well as the support we have from ACT, the continuous support, the qualified team, which is very much credible for us as well, and future-proof. This is what we see. So it's not only technology, it's also the human capital, and having a credible, qualified, up-to-date, strong team. This is what makes you a future-proof treasury team, basically.
Exactly. So the data has to be there, and the decision ultimately falls down to the human perspective. Thank you for that, Muhsin. We have another question, which is a very important question that we see all across the businesses. It's an interesting one. How did you present the business case to the board? And if I can add to that, I mean, these days everybody's quite tight on budgets, and so if you can share your view on it, and if maybe you can see any ROI, return on investment, since implementing the treasury management system in your day-to-day operations. Go ahead, Ms.
Exactly. So as I mentioned to you in the beginning of our conversation, the Chinese saying the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So, from the day one, when I arrived to the company, this was, these were the concerns I had. How reliable our cash flow and liquidity forecasts are, how sufficient liquidity we have, and how do we manage FX risk and the interest rate risk, and the hedging availability of all the products we have with the banks, and can we do them better? So all those questions were there, and the ERP offering, unfortunately, was not available to cater for these needs. So fortunately, we started very early, or before, in hindsight, of course, you see, we are very fortunate that we started before the pandemic situation. We do see some companies, scaling down on the expenditures or on their budget when it comes to the admin costs as well. So as a result, TMS implementation may fall or not be executed, especially in this time when it's mostly needed. We were fortunate that we did it pre the pandemic. And to answer the question directly on the board, as long as you come with facts, and as long as you make a compelling case that you are able to bring the ROI, as you mentioned, Habib, given that you have now a strong system, I think the board was very, very supportive of that. And we showcased that. A best testament for that is the award we have received yesterday. This was for a facility which was quite unique, but actually was very, very competitive as well. And it resulted in huge savings when it comes to value creation and net profit, basis as well, or bottom line basis for the company as well. And a lot of that has contribution. Again, it's a human factor, banking relationship as well, emotional intelligence, but it has a lot to do with the strong data you have to back, the execution of these, deals. And you
Yeah.
wouldn't have that if you don't have a strong system backing you.
I mean, it's worthy to note that once you have all these banks connected to a one-stop shop, which is the treasury management system, which
Absolutely.
sits like in the middle, you can actually pull out reports that analyze your bank fees, and then you can dispute that back to the banks
Absolutely.
and tell them, you know. So
Yeah, I
this
mean,
this
things just like the avoidance of opening. We were in scenarios when we were at the, the manual processes era. We were in a situation where we would be reluctant to open new bank accounts or bank accounts with new banks because
yeah.
of the ramification of the reporting that will come as a result of that. Now it's an instant thing, and it does not eliminate you from getting the best services provided because you've basically consolidated everything, as you mentioned. Yeah.
Exactly. So you can take that information, the data, you slice and dice it the way you want, have it in a report that is specific to Oman shipping, and present it to the management on a click. So this is where digitalization and basically the case of building a treasury of the future makes most sense. I mean, we are in 2020, and we have to make use of all the technology at hand, and always be ahead of the curve. I mean, at the end of the
Agreed.
day, we cannot fall behind, because that will hurt. I mean, the treasury is like the center of the operations of any company.
Yeah.
And I mean, whatever sector it is in, it's always and will always be. I mean, you need to have a clear visibility of what you have today in order to make sound decisions for the
Yeah.
future. We're just, simplifying it, but at the end of the day, we need to have that data very fast, and
Yeah.
we it's just the way it is these days. I would like to thank you, Muhsin. I think we are, in terms of the questions that we have, it's done. I would like to say, Muhsin, would you like to recommend that system? Not only, it's not about Treasury Express, it's just that in terms of all the corporates, what would you say to the corporates that still rely on manual operations and so on? What would your message be to them for the future and of the treasury?
I would say to them, and it's back to the two elements we have on the human capital, as well as staying relevant and adding value to our shareholders. This is a very strong tool, be it a function of an ERP. We've seen some ERPs with the treasury models, or be it a standalone, off-the-shelf treasury management system, or even a in-house or homegrown system that actually gives you this flexibility and this visibility that allows the company to grow further. I would, emphasize on something maybe very related to the current situation. With the working from home, it's probably not sustainable. There is different debates on that, from different organizations, and then there is the issues that arises from that as well, such as the insecurity when it comes to the Wi-Fi, the lack on-site
Yeah.
access, or the expertise. Availability or the service providers availability, from
Yeah.
homes. So for us, the experience we have is with Treasury Express, and the support it was very great. Primarily during the pandemic, and primarily during most of the team working from home. So that's an element. I think if as a treasurer, my advice to you, of course, is invest into IT and invest into your team. And investing into IT is a great way to invest in your team. And then the other element, once you overcome the hurdle of convincing your CFO and convincing your board to actually have a
Yeah.
system. Try now with the current climate to negotiate with your treasury management system providers on on the security aspects, working from home, and what are the offerings or the freebies they're offering now in terms of the implementation, in terms of the support, and what about the coverage with your banks, with the ERPs? Look at it from holistically, from the growth. Where do you want to see yourself 5 years from now, and work your way from there to what do you need as resources today? And I think that's very important to work on. Yeah.
I mean, today is a testament of one has to think for the future, and for the, I mean, we cannot predict the future, obviously not. I wish we could, but one has to prepare himself, and looking at where we are now, things might become better in the near future or
Hopefully.
not so near future, but one has to be prepared. Thank you so much, Muhsin, for today. Thank you for joining us. And again, I congratulate you on your award. Well done, sir. Well done. Okay.
Thank you, Habib, for the award, and thanks to the ACT, and thanks for giving me the chance and allowing me to be here with you. Thank you very much, Habib.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning with us for this case study. We appreciate your patience. Thank you very much. Goodbye.